What's up, traders? Matt from the Trade Brigade here doing a technical analysis on ticker symbol COST for Costco Wholesale. On the left-hand side, we have the daily time frame, and on the right-hand side, the 30-minute intraday time frame. First things first, they gave us an earnings announcement after the bell today, so let's flip on the extended hour session here and see what's going on with the number. And zooming in, what you'll notice is it's kind of crickets, to be quite honest with you. Maybe we'll open closer to the upper 50% of today's range as opposed to the lower 50%, but not abundantly clear as of right now, at least, whether or not we'll get some sort of massive gap up or gap down for tomorrow's open. So with that being said, let's turn this back off. We'll assume we're opening within range here, and let's do what we always do, starting off with a daily roadmap here over on the daily time frame chart, of course. So we're just coming in, pointing out the most obvious areas of support and resistance. Then we'll talk more nuance as we drill down to the 30-minute intraday time frame. I kind of want to see where that lines up there, and underneath us we have this. Obviously, anything above these highs, close to 555, give or take, we're looking at blue sky territories, right? Uncharted all-time highs up here. I would say that 600 does start to act as a magnet. Nice round psychological number. Don't get me wrong, there's a lot of work to be done before we get there, but just keep it in the back of your mind. So with those quick daily levels thrown on there, actually one more thing I want to search for. Let's see if we're at the support trend line from these two touches. I don't think we are. Yeah, we're still quite a ways overhead from that, but something to keep monitoring for. If for some reason we fall out big time and start coming in for new lows, that would definitely catch my attention as a potential super support here. Daily 50 SMA support trend line, if it coincides with this horizontal level as well. Basically looking at 500, the nice psychological zone, to start to offer some significant support if we get a further breakdown, okay? So now taking that closer look at the 30-minute, the first thing that sort of jumps off the page at me is this kind of pattern here, right? So shoulder one, head, shoulder two, and although it's not beautiful, right, we typically look for the head and shoulders at the top of a range, like literally right here is an example of that, right? This does, again, it's just jumping off the page at me. So if this level were to start breaking down close to today's lows, not exactly today's lows, but basically this area here at the 525, we'll call it just 525 for round numbers sake, then that may start to bring a bit of a breakdown inside of Costco. And again, as we're opening inside of range right now, I can't say for sure whether or not we'll rocket higher or rocket lower. So just be prepared with these levels. So 525 is a breakdown level. If we continue to test it, technically the daily bar did close underneath it. And again, our target would be here at around 517. After that, as we mentioned, all about that 500 psychological zone from the daily perspective. Now, what about the upside, right? Well, if we can start taking out the shoulder highs in here, closer to about 530.50, and that's coming from resistance, resistance, then support, resistance, resistance. Didn't quite get there in the afternoon little rally that we saw, but that's the level to watch out for, right? Looking left from there, this big red emotional breakdown, and let me zoom in on that so you can see it a bit better. That, in my estimation, would be retraced fairly quickly, just noting that it was emotional. There's not a ton of candle structure, so I would imagine we get pulled closer to this area of high volume, high value, right? And that's going to be closer to, I would just sort of split the difference here, expect chop around it, close to 540, 541, that general area here on the chart, just shy of that most recent pivot that we had from the daily, close to about 545, right? So that's really how I would play the chart. It's all about, do we break down underneath 525 or do we break out up and over 530.50, in both instances, rather, we do have targets both up and down. Now, excuse me, now it's just a matter, wow, excuse me for that. Now it's just a matter of being patient and watching and waiting for the scenario to unfold, getting a little bit of confirmation and riding it into one of these two targets, which we pointed out on today's session. So with all that being said, we're going to wrap up the video. If you enjoyed it or learned anything new today, let me know in the comments section or by giving the video a thumbs up. Don't forget our main channel is linked in the description, and all of that being said, I wish you a green trading week.